I would definitely recommend TMCx to other startups. I think just being in Houston at the Med Center with so many different hospitals, physicians, patients around, it's a really great place to even just meet people. We've had a surprisingly great amount of support, especially in the ER, from a lot of the doctors here who really want to help. We had an anesthesiologist actually come seek us out. They read about us in an article in the TMC, and they came to us and they said, I really want to get involved with this. I'm great at this procedure, but it's inefficient, it's blind. I really want to work with you guys on this. So that was really exciting for us.
I shouldn't have let you go, and now you're right outside. Show me how you want it to be. Tell me, baby.
All right, I promise I did not pick that walk-up song. Hello, I'm Jessica Traver from Intuitap Medical, and we are eliminating the guesswork from spinal taps. Now, as I'm sure some of you in the room know, if you've ever had an epidural or seen anyone have an epidural or spinal tap, these can be really challenging procedures. The physician has to advance the needle between two vertebrae through a dime-sized opening in order to inject anesthetic or collect it for fluid testing. Now, really, currently, all they have to rely on are their hands. So they're feeling around the patient's back, hoping to feel for these vertebrae and estimate where the gap is. And these vertebrae can be hidden beneath multiple layers of soft tissue. So as you can imagine, this can be very, very challenging, and it's highly unpredictable. And so there are very high first attempt failure rates associated with this procedure, meaning that multiple attempts are required in order to properly place that needle. Now, this is very frustrating for the physician, but as you can imagine, it's also extremely painful for the patient. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely don't want a needle stuck in my back one time, let alone 2, 3, even 4 times. Also, the unpredictable nature of this procedure means that it can take anywhere between 20 minutes and 2 hours, depending on the difficulty of the case, with those more difficult cases actually being sent to radiology to have it done under X-ray guidance. This causes these cases to be deprioritized, resulting in a delay in treatment and causing a huge bottleneck in the ER. But it's important enough that it's done over 12.7 million times each year in the United States across a variety of different settings. With an average cost of about $400, we're looking at a $5 billion total addressable market. Now, there really hasn't been any kind of comprehensive solution to this problem, so there have been a couple people who have been focusing on different aspects of the procedure, but nothing really looking at the entire problem that we're addressing with Intuitap. So essentially what we have is a handheld device that utilizes an array of tactile sensors, so that clips onto the front of the device. So when it's pressed up against the patient's back, it can detect the underlying vertebrae, even through multiple layers of soft tissue. We kind of like to make the analogy that's like a stud finder, but for the spine. We've also incorporated needle guidance as well as predictive analytics so that we project onto the screen exactly where your needle will end up based on depth and insertion angle, further improving the accuracy of this procedure. We recently did our first IRB-approved study comparing our technology to that of the palpation technique that's currently used. We were able to prove that we are 3 times more accurate at identifying that vertebral gap. So we're really excited about that data and are continuing testing now. Essentially, we are improving the accuracy of this procedure, so requiring less attempts in order to properly place that needle. That means less physician frustration, less patient pain, and we're standardizing this procedure to be 30 minutes or less. So we're essentially turning those challenging cases into easy ones, significantly increasing throughput in the ER and the OR. Intuitap follows a razor-razor blade model such that the majority of our revenue will stem from our disposable components, which actually contains that tactile sensing array, our technology. And we plan to get it out to our customers by partnering with specialty distributors, as well as having added support from in-house clinical specialists to help drive adoption and train physicians on how to use the device initially. We expect to be a Class 2 device with a 510K pathway, so we expect to require minimal clinical data for approval and expect fast approval with an early launch in about early 2018. And we plan to launch in the ER, and that's for 2 reasons. One being that emergency room physicians tend to be early adopters of new technology, but 2, we've already established a key group of key opinion leaders here in the Texas Medical Center's ER and have been working with them throughout development of this device. Once we gain a little bit more traction, we will expand out into a couple of different markets like anesthesiology and pain management. By year 3 of sales, we would expect to be in 500 hospitals, which each hospital using our kit about 220 times. So we're looking at about a $33 million revenue. Our team came together in kind of a unique way. We came through the Biodesign Fellowship, as you learned about a little bit earlier, and so we have backgrounds in mechanical engineering, product development and design, signal processing, business, and medicine. We were fortunate enough to bring on some really great mentors here in the Texas Medical Center who have either great experience building out medical devices and selling them, specifically with our business models or in our space, as well as some clinical advisors who have a really deep understanding of the problem that we're solving. Throughout the biodesign program, we did over 250 hours of clinical rotations in order to validate and vet this need and interview multiple key stakeholders. So we really had a deep understanding of what the problem was before we even began prototyping. Once we began prototyping, we knocked out a bunch of prototypes, and we actually tested it on humans a couple months ago. So we're currently raising our seed round of $1 million to continue this testing, build our alpha prototype, grow our team, and file for our utility patent from a provisional. We have had the great opportunity to go through a handful of accelerators. Clearly, we're graduating with TMCx now. We just wrapped up MedTech Innovator a couple of months ago, and we're just starting at Insight Accelerator Labs, which is a product development accelerator who's going to help us take our proof of concept prototype that we have now into a more commercially viable product. We have also been lucky enough to win a handful of competitions, as you can see up here, most recently being the Johnson & Johnson Innovation Award at AdvaMed. So we're excited now, so we'll be moving next door into J-Labs in about a month. Oops, sorry. So we're looking for 3 things. 1, investors to help us close our currently open seed round. 2, advisors, so in both pricing, sales, distribution, business and strategy, as well as clinical advisors. And then 3, team members, so that as well as in business and strategy or electrical and mechanical engineering. So once again, I'm Jessica Traver from Intuitap Medical. I would love to answer any of your questions and show you a demo after the show's over. Our booth is over there. Thank you.